Basement, level vibes with another one, straight up, blackness aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention, education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop.
This is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Hey guys, good evening. It's 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. My name is Mark Benskop. Let's get ready to rock and roll. We got lots of things we want to bring to your attention. And you know what we do here on 107.1 FM? We just don't deal with an issue for one day, 2 days, and then we're done with it. We have what is called longevity. We go and we go and we go and we go like the ever ready battery. Remember that commercial? Well, that's what we do here. We do not forget things at all. So, if we remind you guys of things, it's because we need for those matters to be settled. Sue, Sue, whatever happened? Sorry, I'm pronouncing it like that. But whatever happened to Sue? Whatever happened to the investigation that Irfan Ali promised? Whatever happened to the don't have a problem with the investigation that Jack Jail promised to subject himself to? Nothing at all, right? Absolutely nothing at all. Good evening to all, especially the big people who are surrounded probably with a bottle of wine or whatever it is that you're doing to listen to this show. I'm told that people sit with their entire family because we're very quiet over this end, right? We're very quiet. Sorry about that. Somebody said that I should open a shades factory. I'm just being me when I say it's very quiet at this end. 107.1 quiet FM, right, GT Root Girl? We're very quiet. We get straight to the point. We dig things up, we show you the evidence, we take you through history, and we present our case, and we here, all of us, and I say we because all of you guys are included. Every single one of you guys are included. Well, except one and two, of whom. All of you guys are included. We're very quiet. We get to the point. We're very calm. We're respectful, mind you. Renee Mackenzie Talbot, the pink lady. Good evening to you, Renee. Good evening to all of you. Beautiful people. And I really do mean that because this is the quiet side of the coin, the very quiet side, straight to the point. Right, Morris Sokraj, Patricia Kisoon, and Fiona Casey, and all of you beautiful people. Of course, Yvonne Trotman and Alison Hector and Leota Marcus, all of you guys. We don't make noise over here. But look, if you mash our corn, if you step on us, then we can go from zero. Let me see if you guys know how we are right here. We can go from zero all the way to where? All right, I'll watch you guys for now. Again, good evening. It's Tuesday, the 11th day, of July. The 11th day of July. Can you believe it? We're already in July. How is it at you and your family? Sometimes, we don't take the time out. Thank you, June Cameron. From zero all the way to 100 in a flash, right? Don't mess around us Virgo people. Virgo, the best. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. So coming up this Sunday, this is a plug for the PNCR. This is a plug for them. We give them a plug, as we said last night. Georgetown Motorcade. We want this to be huge, as Trump would say, right? We want it to be huge. Go out there, man. Go out there. Make amends. If you're bitter with one of them in the PNC, whatever, just go out there. Go out there. Just go out there. Right? Vernita Walton. Walton. I'm sorry about that. Vernita Walton Anthony. Good evening to you. Miss Booker and all of you guys. Those of you who are in Georgetown, if you're in the countryside like Plaisance, because Plaisance country people there, country, Buxton, wherever you're from, Victoria, just jump on a bus and head on down to this event. Let it be the largest in a while. Seriously. We don't want to see people fail. At least I don't want to see people fail in the coalition. And Lemon, if you can remove that ad there, thank you. And I want people to see my face. Good evening to all of you. I don't want to see people fail in the coalition. I want to see them succeed, but they've got to work. That is the nature of politics. It is not a showcase. It's not a show boy, show girl kind of thing. Do your work and we will praise you right here. I don't know people personally. Well, some of them I know, but some of them I don't even know. And how can I hate people? How can I dislike people? How can I have some personal animosity against some people in the coalition? I'm talking about MPs and so forth that I don't know. I've never met a lot of them in my entire life. I've never, seriously, I've never met her. And I don't recall like I ever met Karen Cummings. I don't, probably never met her. I don't know. Maybe I ran into her. I don't know. Ganesh, I saw him once. Well, I can't even remember him. Dinesh Jai Prashad, I probably never met the guy. Sears, I don't even know who he is. So the point that I'm making, I don't want you guys to take things personal when I objectively go after these MPs. It's never anything personal. Look how many things people say to me. Oh, Mark this. Oh, Mark that. Oh, Mark, you dropped soap in Camp Street. I don't want people here loud around the house, right? Things like that. It doesn't bother me. It's not me style anyways, right? But at the end of the day, people have to, especially politicians or public figures, because they have a lot of these. Everybody now is a public figure in Guyana. Go figure it out, right? Everybody is a public figure in Guyana. And so they take things too personal, guys. Stop talk, who in this, who in that. Like somebody said the other day, oh, Mark, hate. What's the Amanza Walton this year? I think I don't even know the woman from Jump Street. I've never even met her. I go by people and their politics and their work. If you do work, if you do serious work, then it is my opinion. I will compliment those who are working. This is not a personal game that I come on here and I hate people for personal reasons and I don't like this body and I don't play that kind of politics, guys. I just don't. Leave me alone. Good evening to all of you. It's Straight Up. And here it is. We got to stay focused, guy. A guy by the name of Dennis Atwell. I know Atwell very well, a soldier underground. He's not listening to anything that I'm saying, right, Keith Beresford? Good evening, my friend. He's not listening to anything that he's saying. He's sitting there admiring me. Well, you can't blame people, right? But Dennis Atwell is telling me of all things now, Mark, you need to shave. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis. I think I saw Dennis at a protest the other day there. Dennis is always in the struggle, and I got to give Dennis on the ground. I got to give Dennis kudos for always being out there. But Dennis isn't listening to anything else I got to say. Dennis say, Mark, you got to shave. I got to shave. Shondell Griffith, good evening. All of you guys, good evening. Waveney, Doris, good evening to you guys. Dennis Atwell telling me I got to shave. Oh, Father, please help me sometimes with some of our. I notice I don't call you guys fans at all. You guys are not fans. You guys, we're all part of this village. Look, since we're part of this village, let me give the guys over at Andrew's Supermarket. Andrew's Supermarket, a big plug. Once you're in Guyana, in Georgetown, whether you're in Robb Street, go over there, whether you're in Aubrey Barker Road, go over. Support Andrew's Supermarket. Support these folks. Support them. Go out there. Support them. They got lots of things. You need a hamper, go over there. You need whatever it is that you need, go over to there. Go over there. Just go. Yep, just go over and support the businesses that we ask of you to support. Just go right over. Give them. But let's get back to this here. Sunday, go go out in your numbers at this motorcade. We will carry it live right here on 107.1 FM. We will carry it live right here. We will. We will do so. We want to see that crowd out there. So if you have friends and relatives in Guyana, send them out. Give them a call. According to this flyer here, they're saying, wear something green. Even if you don't have anything green, just go by the border market, Stabrook Market, or wherever, and buy a green mango, right? Buy a coconut, one of those green ones, and something green, something green. Don't tell me you don't have anything green. Even if it's a $5,000 bill, hold it in your hand. Something green. All right. So, what is it that you guys want us to talk about this evening? Tell me. Look at what we ran into. Look at it. Rami El Batrawi, that guy who was set to be prepared to buy over the Marriott Hotel, is boasting and bragging. He says, look, hey, guess what? Getting even closer. Getting even closer, should close on this in the next 60 to 90 days. Anyways, I just thought I'd throw that out there for you guys to see. And then there's this big scandal. The police, the federal police out in Brazil, you're looking for some Guyanese smugglers, alleged criminals in Guyana, smuggling gold. Travis Chase, I believe, broke that story. Smuggling gold. They're smuggling gold. And so-called businessmen from Bartica, their names are calling. Their names are calling. Their names are calling. And that is what's happening in Guyana. These so-called businessmen, people, oftentimes you see when they get into problems, they're described as businessmen. Businessmen. That's what they're described as. Businessmen. I don't know what sort of businessmen these guys are, but like the private sector commission and so forth. Maybe when our accountant, our operator Lemon is ensuring that Wayne Caesar, our executive producer, call them and say, hey, you've got to be on the show tonight. He's our accountant. He's the guy who counts a little ping-a-ling whenever you guys feel like giving us a little ping-a-ling. We don't abuse you. We don't rough you guys up. We don't shake you guys down. Sorry about that. We don't do that. But whenever you guys give a little ping, ching-a-ling, we are thankful. But our accountant is the guy who ensure that he takes care of things here. Ping-a-ling, ching-a-ling. Right? Thank you guys so much, Joe. Thank you guys so much. And so we are hearing about a story out in Brazil. And this guy is being accused by the Brazilian authorities, right? The police out there in Brazil. His name is Wazim Kasim. Wazim Kasim from Bartica. Wazim Kasim. Wazim Kasim. According to information that is, it's a huge ring. It's a huge ring. Allegations of gold smuggling. But the PPPs, networks, and all these things, they're not gonna run with these stories. They don't want to hurt people who might be financing them and all these sort of things. We know who a lot of those individuals are. Some of them might very well be on the radars of U.S. law enforcement agencies, like what Azruddin Mohammed revealed, that he Azruddin Mohammed, nobody had to reveal that, even though some people probably already knew. But Azruddin Mohammed revealed that he is on U.S. law enforcement radar for gold smuggling. And by the way, that's not Azruddin Mohammed. That is not Azruddin Mohammed. This is Azruddin Mohammed with the dark shades. And And so he revealed that he is on he's subject to U.S. law enforcement agencies for money laundering, gold smuggling, assassinations. What is it? Um, Lots of other stuff. Lots of other stuff. And so the PPP is not bothered by that. They still have their friends. They still give them contracts and all manner of things, gun licenses, you name it. And so this guy here now is probably also on U.S. law enforcement, probably for allegations of smuggling gold. I know the Brazilian authorities, they want some of these guys set to be part of a big ring, a huge ring. Um, let's welcome Mr. Caesar. Mr. Caesar, 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. Good evening and welcome to 107.1 FM. How have you been, sir?
I am doing quite well, Mark. A pleasant good evening to you and also all our listeners, viewers, and freedom fighters.
Yeah, thank you so much. Always taking time out of your busy schedule. Are you surprised, though, at all the allegations we're hearing about gold smuggling? And this gold smuggling business is hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars where they rob taxpayers of the country in terms of paying their taxes and their royalties and so forth. They just don't do that. A lot of them posing as legitimate businessmen and so forth. We know who these big gold people are. You think they're easy? They're not easy. But are you surprised at all of the allegations?
Not at all, Mark. I think I would have spoke last week about us, having our gold hit the gold board and actually having a gold reserve to actually back our dollar. But listen, Mark, again, I'll tell you, these type of behaviors, it starts at the top. It starts at the top. This doesn't surprise me one bit. And we are talking about material amounts of money here, Mark. But trust me, this is a small fish that just got, allegedly caught there. There are much bigger fishes than him in the same gold and diamond smuggling business. Let me be clear, Mark, on this. When you look at Guyana from a holistic perspective, from an economic holistic perspective, Guyana can have a functioning economy that would benefit the people and everyone in the country without oil. That's to show you that over the last 23 years, the PPPC would have been committing economical genocide against the people of Guyana. So, it doesn't concern me one bit to see this type of practice, because this is what you call business as usual. And this does not benefit the people of Guyana, because what's being taken out, the precious minerals being taken out of the country without being properly earmarked and taxed, is shortchanging our economy. And, all this on-the-hand business, listen, we are dealing with a set of on-the-hand criminals in the government right now. That's what they're dealing with.
Lots of them. Lots and lots of them. Criminals indeed. Criminals in the PPP regime. So many of them. And you are correct. Absolutely correct. And so this thing about the private sector commission and they want the best, they're just a bunch of hustlers. Most of them. I'm not going to paint all of them with the same brush at all. Let me say goodnight to Anil Sugrim, Pastor Anil Sugrim, who's also an MP out there in Corriverton. Seem to always have some time to tune in. Every time we're on, he's tuning in, and we appreciate that. Thank you so much. MP, not MP, maybe not yet. I'm seeing that in the future, right, Anil? But Councillor Anil Sugrim is saying business criminals all over Guyana crippling the ordinary man's livelihood. So true, Anil. Crippling the ordinary man's livelihood. Oh, gosh. Mr. Caesar, just crippling the economy. They're not paying their taxes. Hundreds of millions of taxes being cheated by these so-called businessmen. You're the economist here. Talk about how much negative impact that has on our country and the economy.
Well, Mark, it's not just a negative impact on the country, but it's a negative impact on the normal, honest working Guyanese, because then they are faced, with having to pay all the taxes and a rise in taxes. And sometimes there's no need for us to be raising taxes in Guyana. Right now, I feel like if the people in Guyana deserve a tax-free year on everything based on what's coming into that country from a revenue, or what should be coming into the country from a revenue perspective. Let's put oil to the side for now. But our gold and diamond industry should be popping right now. And it's just not. It is just not, because what they're doing, they're highlighting the oil, but they are ripping up the other sectors that should actually be bringing in revenue also, and boosting our economy. They're just trying to use the oil revenue mark to really boost the economy. And, listen, that's, and Mark, that's not going to always work, because what we're looking for in Guyana, Mark, ideally, is a sustainable economy. Okay, a sustainable economy could only grow so much per year. Right now, our economy is growing, 40, 50% and all these. That's because of the oil. Eventually, that's going to slow. And Mark, let's keep in mind that we're starting to use alternative energy also. Oil is not going to always be the oil that we know it to be right now. That's why these guys are grabbing. This also have a shelf life on it. I'm not saying, Mark, that oil is going to become completely irrelevant. It is not. Okay? But the price per barrel is not going to be what you're getting now.
Certainly.
That's going to drop with alternative energy and electric cars and all these things, which is going to really be taking effect and picking up. Once we get to 2025, 2030, that's going to start, we're going to start seeing those more and more.
Absolutely. 28 minutes after 9 o'clock, Mark Benjab here. With me is Wayne Caesar. We're talking about these serious allegations of smuggling of gold. The gold smugglers' allegations are that this guy, Wasim Kasim, whatever it is, Wusam Wasim, and all these guys, allegations, mind you. I just want to make it clear that allegations, according to the Brazilian authority, that there's a serious ring. I'm not sure if Azruddin Mohammed and their company, whether their names are being called. I don't know. I haven't seen that as yet. But serious allegations. But what we do know is that Azruddin's name, according to Azruddin himself, his name is being called by U.S. law enforcement agencies. And speaking of Azruddin, he seemed to be afraid of his own shadow, man. His own shadow. He's suspicious of all of his workers. All of them, they're suspicious of them. Phones being checked, Facebook Messenger being checked, photographs being checked. People are so afraid. Like, this guy is so afraid of his own shadow. I don't know, but I guess in life what goes around comes right back around, right? All right, Mr. Caesar, what is your take as we move on to other stuff? We got quite a few things we want to discuss this evening, but let us take time out to welcome those who have just joined us. Let us touch on, give this here a pitch. You expect a large crowd to be out there at this event for the PNC?
Yes, Mark, I expect a very large crowd. And I want to say this. This is not just for Guyanese who are a part of the PNC party. This is for all Guyanese. Anyone is welcome to come and join this motorcade and public meeting. Okay, we have to all work together here. We see what we are facing when it comes, to government and the way the installed government is governing the people of Guyana. So when we have an exercise like this, I would encourage people to come out and to be edified and to mingle with each other, and to, plan strategically. Whatever you're gonna, get out of this meeting, it's gonna be beneficial. You're gonna be able to go out there and share with other Guyanese. Listen, Mark, as a whole, man, the Guyanese people need to be empowered. And it's good to see, that we have an exercise like this happening. And, I know that you're going to be covering it, and I am looking forward, to being a part of that coverage.
Absolutely. We'll probably just carry it live and let the people get to see and hear what's happening on the ground. But if we can come on with our 2 cents, we'll be more than happy to do that. Again, welcome all the folks who are watching us and those who are listening to us via 107.1 FM. Good evening to all of you. This motorcade, Georgetown. It's in Georgetown, of course. Georgetown motorcade and public meeting. That's the 16th of July, this Sunday. Assemble point is Congress Place. Go straight over into Congress Place. If not, just join the public meeting at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock at Stabroek Market Square. 6 o'clock at Stabroek Market Square. All are invited except a few folks, and some of them we know who they are. Let's revisit this situation here, Mr. Caesar, where Jagdeo, the criminal, Jagdeo, blames justice protesters for schoolgirl seeking no further action. Who in the world, who in their right mind would blame protesters crying out for justice for someone, a victim? You are going to blame protesters for crying out and calling for justice? What sort of a sick and mentally insane man Jagdeo is to say that the protesters were wrong for doing that? Your take, Mr. Caesar.
Well, Mark, look, this is another feeble attempt by Barra Jagdeo to try to divert people away from what, would have actually happened here. This rape allegation is not going anywhere. No matter how much the PPPC, are trying to create, Mark, a different narrative. And they're creating this narrative, Mark, for damage control purposes. Okay, their time is up. We all know that their time is up. But this guy here on the screen right now, and I feel like if we give him too much airtime, that he has to have his way. He has to be able to show his power, his quote unquote power, because his power does not apply to me. Plain and simple. Barra Jagdeo power does not. He's irrelevant. He's there because Irfan Ali and the PPP have him there. But Barra Jagdeo is irrelevant. He had 23 plus 3 years.
It's the other way around. This Klung Jagdeo is actually the dictator of the PPP. He is the one who has mentally insane Irfan Ali there. He is the one that has bullied his way. They haven't had Mr. Season. This is the Nimakaram Jagdeo. This is the Nimakaram who loves to talk about democracy and what is happening in other political parties. In the PNC, he's always sticking his mouth straight up the PNC and minding the PNC's business and always talking about democracy and this and that. Do you know that the PPPC has not held Congress to elect a new general secretary, a new leader of the PPP since 2016? I bet a lot of people don't know that. But yet that dictator, Jagdeo, sorry, I paused here for a moment, doesn't want to talk about the lack of democracy in the PPP. A lot of people at Freedom House are unhappy with Jagdeo. They are fighting behind the doors, some of them probably pulling guns and cutlass and whatever it is. But we don't see a lot in public. But soon to come, we will see that fight in public. But Jagdeo is holding on to power, for God in heaven knows what, with a tight grip. Tight grip, and all these sort of things. But yet he's afraid to have elections within the PPP. They haven't had that again. I repeat, they haven't had that since 2016. Are you surprised, sir?
Um, I am surprised, Mark, and at the same time, I'm
Oh,
not
come
surprised.
on.
But listen,
Are you
no, no,
really
no.
surprised?
Let me explain why. Let me
One second.
explain why.
No, 1 second. We're talking about a dictator. A dictator we're talking about. But continue, sir.
Yeah, and to all those, high up delegates within the PPPC, you guys, all of you guys across the board, you should be totally ashamed of yourself to allow one man to have that much power, to suppress and basically oppress right within his own party. That you guys would not have had a Congress for so long. Don't try to say, oh, because we're all on the same accord. No, everybody know that you guys have a lot of infighting too, but you guys do a pretty decent job of keeping it in-house, which is something that I would like to see more from the coalition, keeping the little infighting in-house. But that being said, like I would have said, Frank Anthony, all of you guys are mentally lazy, man. You guys just are always dictated to all the time. Barry Jagdeo just have his way. And Irfan Ali is a complete puppet. He's not his own man. As a leader, quote unquote, installed president, you're a disgrace to Guyana. You don't even represent Guyana the way Guyana should be represented. All right, we need to stop, Mark, having these political dunces, financial dunces in place in Guyana, in our framework that should be a democracy. Listen, we have a good framework, Mark, but the framework doesn't have the dancing partners. You can see that. Looking at the PPPC, you can see that. And Mark, if I may quickly just touch on the sale of that Marriott, because that's been kind of bothering me a bit. Now, you would have taken taxpayers' money and you would have built out this hotel, because the conclusion that I'm coming here to is that this hotel, when it was built for this guy, but it was going to be under the government for a few years and let everything kind of cool down and get in place, and then he would have put himself in place to buy the establishment. But that being said, I don't think Barra Jagdeo, should be having the right to take a hotel that was purchased and that was built, not purchased, built with Guyana's taxpayers' money. Okay, an asset that have a shelf life, I would say another 35 years or even more. Once we have a running oil sector, okay, this Marriott is gonna have a shelf life, and it's gonna be an asset that's gonna bring in revenue to the Guyanese people. If you tell me about the Marriott right now, I would say let's build one at Tamari, let's build one in Barbies. Because I know that these are assets that would bring in money, and we need money to flow, and we need money to flow to the Guyanese people. This here was a deal that was done by Jagdeo from the get-go. And these are the type of things that the Guyanese people need to check this man on. He just can't pick up an asset that belongs to the people and just sell it off just like that. That's just not right. And we should have policies in place to stop these type of behaviors. It's because we don't have the policies in place. That's why the PPPC is taking advantage where they see these loopholes. Over to you, Mark.
All right, thank you so much. We have Rami El Batrari is saying here, getting even closer. Should be closed on this in the next 60 to 90 days. $90 million. 90 million. First it was 60. Then Jagdeo said, no. No. That is what Jagdeo said. No. Anyways, let's welcome a trench crappo. Oh gosh, look at the amount of filter she used on her face. Sabrina Rajaram, shame on you. Why can't you use your original face? I am sure that you're a Madras. I'm almost certain that you're Madras. You're dark. Darker than my favorite Hindu Indian actress Hema Malini. Dark about look at you, and then you're coming on people's show to say, why don't you fool leave the ministers them? Damn it, you disgusting element. uh, we like to get to the bottom of your skin, right? Yeah. Stop bleaching. Please stop bleaching, Sabrina. You're a black woman. Be proud. Be a proud black woman. Can't you for a moment be a proud black woman? Please stop the bleaching. And by the way, the filter, even the filters. Ooh, sorry about that, guys. You know, sometimes we did say we go from 0 all the way to 100. But let's get back to some serious business. You know, we oftentimes got to stop to recognize the trench crappos them, and we do that. So this whole Marriott stuff, $60 million, the highest bidder, he was, and then Jack Deere decided that sorry guys, that he is going to go to bed, sleep on it, and wakes up the next morning to say that it's no longer going to be $60 million. It is going to be $90 million. That's how they operate, right? Janet Adams wins. That is how they operate. Jagdeo and his cronies believe that Guyana belongs to them. And we have got to stop these sort of folks from ever taking full control of Guyana. Because if they do, guess what? All of Guyana is going to be subjected to, the people of Guyana will be subjected to just handouts, cash grants, $40,000, $30,000, $25,000 occasionally. Meanwhile, billions and billions of dollars going into their pockets. That is how they're operating the country. They're not running a country. They're ruining a country. All the boys and the girls and the concubines and the other friends and so forth, they're the ones who are benefiting. And you know what? You mentioned earlier, Mr. Caesar, that with the oil revenues, it's not going to last long. It is going to finish up. The resource is going to dry up, right? And there's going to be nothing to depend on. But the regime, Jack there wouldn't care, because 20, 25 years from now, he will be about in his 80s if he's still around, done gone. Because they beat up the country, they ruined the country, they destroyed the country. And people like that, there's not much longevity in terms of life. You know what I mean? And so they're not concerned about the future generations. They're just not. Sorry, I get all worked up, guys, but let's hear from Mr. Caesar, please.
No, Mark. That's a very, very good point. You know, to my point, that's a very good follow up right there, because I feel like if that is what I'm trying to get across to the people of Guyana, even with the oil resource, there is a window there. There is a shelf life there. And what would happen if you guys don't take control of your country is that these people are going to rip you off and take everything out of the country. And then once everything dries up, they're going to disappear and go to, Dubai or wherever they're going to go. And you guys are going to just leave there, punishing. That's why it's imperative and important, that we protest, we come out, we check this government. And 2025, we go out and we vote this government out. Listen, this is not a government for the people of Guyana. Okay, while yes, there's certain elements and certain sectors in a government that you kind of run like a business. You don't run the entire government, as a business. Government should firstly be people centric. You take care of your people. You don't go there and throw your people under the bus saying that they're not educated and all these kind of things, for employment. When you are the sitting government, whose responsibility it is to make sure that the people are motivated and are edified, fully educated. Whose responsibility, especially based on the fact that we're getting all this oil revenue, whose responsibility it is to make the University of Guyana free, which our constitution dictates that it should be free. Whose responsibility is that? It's the government. It is the government. The government does not want to take up their responsibility. They want to get into power, get in government, sit there and act like businessmen. Hence the situation where we saw on the Vice News, Jack Dio sitting in the little dark corner there. Listen, Mark, it just wasn't dark enough. I saw the bald head in the corner. I recognized who it was. Okay? There's no doubt in that. You know, the businessmen come in and see him.
Absolutely.
You should be.
One of the things also.
Yes, go ahead, Mark.
One of the things that I take umbrage to is the Chinese business, Bosa or Busa or whatever. They go into Linden, Region 10, and they now listening to Irfan Ali, a dunce like Irfan Ali, to say that the leaders of Linden should not have a voice at that meeting at Bosa, the bauxite industry. None at all. And so they disrespected those elected and selected leaders of Linden. But yet Linden has stayed quiet. You know what? If I had my way, if the elected leaders of Linden and Region 10 cannot speak, then Irfan could not speak. The owners of Bosai and the Chinese and all of them could not speak either. All of them would have had to run out of Linden. Every single one of them would have had to run out of Linden. I don't know what's happening in that country. Like some people getting soft or what. And then some going to say, Mark, why don't come back? But, we got to have these people stop disrespecting our people. They got to stop. How can you go into Linden and because a dunce like Irfan Ali, a racist and a dunce like Irfan Ali is probably going to whisper to the Chinese, don't allow the chairman, don't allow other officials to speak at that opening, to speak at that important meeting in Linden. Shame on Irfan Ali. Shame on the racist installed PPP regime. I don't know if you saw that, Mr. Caesar, but if you did, what's your take on not allowing those leaders of Linden to speak?
Well, Mark, I did heard about it, and I also read a short article on it. So my take on that, Mark, and let's go back. Let's go back to when we had the elections in 2020. And, we had the waiting period before the PPP was finally installed. Jack Dio was saying that, listen, if we are not installed as the government of Guyana, we are going to go there and it's going to be two governments. We're going to have two presidents because we know that we would have won the election. So from that alone, Mark, it tells you, Linden, they actually, Jack Dio and the PPPC have no right being in Linden because the people of Linden would have voted emphatically against the PPPC. But look, the external forces, the external financial forces, they have a plan for Linden. And this plan does not include the people of Linden. It's what they want to do with that community, whether it's riverfront or lakefront, resort hotels. I've heard through the grapevine, and listen, that information is authentic. Right? And I could see the PPPC going in that direction. But that being said, the people of Linden have stood up and vote against them. And I'm looking for the people of Linden to start standing up and rejecting such futile attempts by the PPPC to deny our mayor and our leaders, in Linden from speaking at important meetings pertaining to that community in which they would have been elected. They are elected officials in. You cannot go and speak and have other people speaking who wasn't elected, you understand me, Mark, in a constituency.
That is gross disrespect, to walk into a community and deny the elected and selected officials to speak. I am saying that was wrong. And that meeting, trust me, and forgive me, guys, that meeting would have had to break up. All of them would have had to run away from Linden. All of them. The meeting would have had to break up or stop until the elected officials of Linden and Region 10 are respected and recognized. Simple as that. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Mark, I want to say one more thing since we are on this. Listen, the PPPC have not gotten here overnight with these type of behaviors. Okay? These behaviors have grown over the years, 23 plus the 3 years. I call on every Guyanese, I call on the Guyanese people to step up and start setting standards. There is no standards in place. Hence the reason that Dharmlal behaved the way he behaved, Mark. We have to have standards. Not any and everybody could just walk into a position of leadership. You have to vet your leaders. Vet their, you don't want people, that don't have character, Mark, in these positions, because you know what the results are going to be. So we need to set standards in Guyana. We need to make sure that we have decent leaders in place, and leaders who are educated and could make proper decisions, not like the person on the screen.
Rightly so, because these guys are not even proper people. They're not even classy people. They're far from it. They're basically a bunch of no goods, Nimakaram, Katahar. That's what they are. And these are people are placed there as leaders of a country. Just imagine what this Katahar says, right? This Katahar, this Korhi. Just imagine what he said. He met briefly, probably, he forced himself. He saw Congressman Hakeem Jeffries and he walked over to Hakeem. And we should be hearing from Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, official spokesmen and women out of his office, right, as to what really transpired at this meeting here. But we're not hearing from any official spokesman or spokeswoman from his office. Of course, we should, because Irfan Ali has disrespected the congressman by saying Irfan Ali, had to educate. Just imagine a dunce like Irfan Ali, a dunce like Irfan Ali, again, I repeat, said that he had to educate an educated man on what's happening in Guyana. A dunce like Irfan Ali. How that makes you feel, Mr. Caesar?
Well, listen, Mark, that doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth with the quote that Irfan Ali would have made, that he educated Hakeem Jeffries. There's no way that Irfan Ali could educate Hakeem Jeffries, who would have graduated from highly decorated universities throughout his time, studying and doing his academics. Irfan Ali needs to go and get his academical credentials together and bring it and show it to us, because as far as I'm concerned, he should not be sitting there. He has went several times on the world stage and disappointed Guyanese, on a whole, because certain words he could not pronounce. He was stuttering and misfiring. He should have read over his presentation a few times before in the night. The people who would have written the presentation should have been a little more sharp and thoughtful and make sure that the president could have pronounced all the words that, would have been within the presentation, which he could not. And listen, Mark, you want to give everybody a chance, and I'm going to tell you how I felt personally when this guy was installed. I didn't jump up and scream and all this type of stuff. I said, let me give him some time.
Wait a minute.
Yes, I did, Mark.
One second, comrade.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Gentleman.
Yes.
1 second. It's fair enough to say you give people a chance.
Yes.
How is it that you would want to, or anybody would want to give an installed regime, people who stolen elections, people who basically raped an entire nation after elections and were installed, stolen elections riggers? I can't give election riggers a chance, bro.
But
I
Mark,
can't do that.
Mark,
Right? If they were 1 second, I'm not done yet, unless
okay, hands up, okay.
but if they were elected under proper circumstances, then it would have been fair enough to say, all right, let us sit back because the elections went free and square and so forth and so on. Let us sit back and wait until another elections and vote them out. Yes. But this guy they didn't win any elections. They rigged the elections. They rigged their way into office. And I wouldn't sit back and say give them a chance. I wouldn't do that at all. I wouldn't give this dunce a chance.
No.
But go ahead, Mr. Gentleman.
No. Mark, you see, that's the thing with me. I am very measured when it comes to me attacking. And the reason I say, Mark, let me give them a chance, because listen, I would have known. The numbers alone tell that the PPP would have rigged the election. But Mark, you can rig yourself into power, but then when you get there, you try to win over the Guyanese people by doing all things that are right, Mark.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Gentleman.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. So, and I want to be very straightforward with this question.
Mm-hmm.
You're in your house, God forbid. 2 thief men. One looks like Barajak there, the other one looks like Irfan Ali. 2 thief men go in your house. You and Ronir, your brother, are sitting in your living room. 2 notorious thief men, looking like what I just mentioned there to you. Are you gonna sit back, fold your hands, you and Ronir, and say, let me just watch them what they can do. Let me give them a chance. They might be compassionate and save our lives. They might just take the TV and leave the remote for us. Let me give them a chance. 2 thief men, and that is what Jagdeo and Irfan Ali are as it pertains to the rigging of elections. Why would anyone give 2 thief men a chance who have rigged an elections? I don't know. Please, but you're entitled to your opinion.
No, Mark. I wanted to see what these people would have done, and you see, listen.
Wait, thief man.
Mark, sometimes negative. No. Well, wait. We're talking about 2 different things now. If we got 2 thief men in my house and me, my brother, I don't want to say what would happen on camera. I don't want to say it no. All right.
No. But this 19 fraud charges, all manner of things, you still expect to give these Nimakaram, these Katahar a chance, and things gonna be better with these people?
Mark, remember, they were installed by the international community, right? You might be saying, hey, the international community has a plan for Guyana. And sometimes, Mark, it's good when these type of things happen, because now the Guyanese know, Mark, now the Guyanese people know.
Mr. Gentleman, the
international
community has a plan for the international community, not a plan for Guyana. But
correct. But Mark, that's what we needed to wait and see. You see, sometimes you got to see things and understand it, so that you can know where you stand with the blinking visit and everything else. The Guyanese people would have seen firsthand that no one have their interest at heart. Okay? So now
nobody choking me, and me gonna give them a chance to see how much more they're gonna choke me. These guys should not be in office. They are corrupt.
I agree, Mark.
They don't mean well for Guyana, and that's it. While I understand your part in saying, okay, fair enough, they rigged the way they're in there. Let me see what they're going to do. Maybe they will. No, I'm not buying that. They can't do anything good for Guyana.
Right.
Let's look and see one thing good. The minute they got in, 1 second, Mr. Gentleman. They got in there, they start to persecute people. They start to charge people left, right, and center. They start to do all manner of things. They knocked up thousands of public servants. Right now, they still have people before the court. They're not calling up the case every time the case is called up. Guess what? No evidence. They're still investigating. Over 3 years now, they go into Linden. They ransack people's home. They bulldoze people's farms. They go on Linden Suicide Highway. They do the same. They go at Lincoln's family place up on the West Coast Borbies. They threaten and they take away and they charge Lincoln and his people them. They go in Georgetown. They go all over. Man, I feel like give them a chance. These Nimakaram a chance to rape the country. A court ruled in favor of Guyana. The people of Guyana, in the event of an oil spill, and Jack Deo and Irfan, they criticized the court to say that the court ruling was wrong. Oh, Caesar.
All
Go
right,
ahead,
so
sir.
Mark
Go
Good,
ahead.
Mark Good. All right, so you
Go
know we
ahead.
just got out of, and I thank you for saying all that you just said. So
Yeah.
now let's gift wrap it now and present it to the Guyanese people as a sample. They've gotten a large sample of what the PPP gives. You see, Mark, all
But
listen.
before you continue,
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you
go ahead.
continue, me and gift wrapping anything from these people. You know where it going? It going in either brown paper bag or what is called, you know what porine leaf is?
Yes, I do.
It going in a porine leaf and that. Nothing gift wrap for these people. They're not classy enough for anything to be gift wrapped. Put it in a garbage bag. These people are hooligans for Guyana. There's nothing good will come out of them. Nothing.
What?
For 3+ years, nothing good.
I
50,000
agree.
jobs, no jobs. The
I
free
agree.
education at university level, nothing at all. These people are nimakarams. Nothing good will ever come out of them because they have rigged their way into office. They have destroyed the country so far. I have absolutely no faith in them. None whatsoever. Let us have fresh elections all over again, whenever that is. And if whoever wins, if the coalition wins, as we would want the coalition to win, so that Guyana will be able to breathe again. These guys are way too corrupt. Come on, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Mark, like I would have said, and we can't wrap it and throw it in the garbage because the people have to remember what this installed government would have done to them. And I agree with you 100%. Listen, listen, in a way, Mark, I feel good that what the PPPC did, they did. Because the people now have an understanding, Mark, of what these people give. So now Guyana is able to move. Guyana is able to move forward now.
23 years, the people done had a sample. That was a big sample, by.
Well, Mark, listen, they needed to get this 3 years because you still have people that was leaning toward the PPPC. Now they've gotten oil and all this stuff in the 3 years, oil revenue and all these different types of revenue coming into Guyana, and they see still nothing is coming their way. Now you would have to be, totally not right up here to still go and vote PPPC. You would have had a yearning for being oppressed to still go and vote PPPC. And Mark, I do not see that happening in 2025. There would be no opportunity for the PPPC to rig any elections in 2025 because the Guyanese people of all ethnic groups is going to emphatically vote this government out. There is no way that people is going to stand for what this government would have meted out to them over this past 3 years. The government would have done nothing, absolutely nothing for the people. Don't worry, this $40,000 and this little money that it did, that's nothing. Mark, that is absolute, that is not even material when it comes to the amount of money that flows into Guyana. Okay, so I say this to the PPPC, the entire government that is there right now. Your time in power is very short, and you cannot manipulate GCOM, to find favor and to rig those numbers in your favor. And GCOM, you guys need to fulfill your mandate. Claudette Singh, you're going to be complaining about people threatening you and all this kind of stuff, and you can't do the job the way the job needs to be done. You need to resign and walk away. You're talking about the lives of thousands of people that your decisions can affect, and we cannot have this. We cannot have this. And Vincent Alexander and all those who are there at GCOM representing the opposition, you guys need to get on your game, because posting numbers, Mark, on the internet is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. And a disgrace. Okay, you guys need to show more respect to the Guyanese people who would have gotten up early out of their bed and went out and fulfilled their mandate, their democratic right, and voted. What about, Mark, what about if they don't have computers? There are people in Guyana who does not have a computer. who does not have a cell phone. You know, come on, you got to respect the people. And the people in Guyana need to step up and set standards, hold these guys accountable, Mark. The government and even party officials are not held accountable. That's why they could meander around and walk around lawlessly and hold these positions. They need to be held to the knife. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. They need to be held to the ropes, to the knives, to whatever it is. They need to be held accountable. And that is what we do every single night on 107.1 FM. But these guys should never, never have been allowed to be in office. Never. They are no good for Guyana. And we see this, as Mr. Caesar indicated earlier. They are no good for Guyana. We see this every single day. We saw it for 23 years of corruption, massive corruption. Well, one of their senior official, Ashton Chase, kicked the bucket. He's gone. And, they oftentimes say when one go, they carry one or two others. Well, that's just to say, that's how it goes. I don't know, but that's just how it goes. I'm just repeating how old people say it goes. We saw that they said that Ashton Chase was one of the founding members of the PPP, but that might not be altogether accurate. He came in after the PPP was formed, and a lot of people should be reminded that Burnham and Chetty helped to form the PPP. Burnham and Chetty formed the PPP because when these PPP people are running around, they got to know that the PPP belonged to Burnham. And Burnham went off on his own, and lots of other people went with him. Bright people went with him. They formed 1 year after. They just did a name change from PPP, Burnham Faction, to PNC, I believe in 1953 or sometime back. So Ashton Chase has kicked the bucket. He's no longer there. He has kicked the bucket. But one of these nights, we got to talk about how Janet Jagan took the country down a bloody path in 1963 and so forth when she was the Minister of Home Affairs. And after all of the killings and so forth, she had to resign. So it is not Gadraj alone who resigned as a result of bloodbath and death squads and so forth and so on. Janet Jagan had to resign in 1963, I believe, when she was also the Minister of Home Affairs. You guys got to understand that, right? And after she resigned, not so long after, guess what? The Abrams family, about 7 or 8 of them died in a fire. They were supporters of the UF, and fingers were pointing in the direction of Freedom House. We can talk about all those crimes later and all those folks who were sent to Cuba to train as assassins. We can talk about all of that. But for 23 years of misery, we saw it under the PPPC regime. But before we go, though, Mr. Caesar, we are hearing that the young lady who accused Irfan Ali of all the sort of things to her, she has recanted. She's saying, she's also echoing the same nonsense of Bara Jagdev and saying that the protesters this and the protesters that. So she's now saying, speaking about indigenous people, because every day this sector of the population is affected and these people are quiet 98% of the time. So she's saying that the indigenous communities, members of the indigenous communities, they are affected 98% of the times and people are quiet. People are not quiet, young lady. People have always been speaking out against atrocities. The times when minority president Donald Ramotar threatened to slap an indigenous teacher, we spoke out about that. We protested about that. There are times when Jagdeo also did the same, and all manner of things by disrespecting members of the indigenous community. And so she continues. In closing, she is saying here, that is the woman who is supposed to be the victim, the rape victim of Dharmlal. She says, in closing, I wish to reiterate that I have no issue with Dharamlal. She is saying she has no issue with Dharamlal, and this issue should have never escalated to this extent. That is what she's saying. And she continues that I would encourage everyone to desist from creating scandalous statements because from the inception, there was a clear plan to tarnish good people's reputation. Could you believe, could you guys believe what I just read there? Could you guys believe this? People took time out of their busy schedule to go out to fight for this young lady, to get justice. After reading her story, and we saw the zigzagging and so forth and so on, people risked their lives. They risked being locked up. They went out there in the hot sun. They went out there in the rains. All manner of things to stand up so that this young lady can get justice. And this is the payment people get back. I would encourage everyone to desist from creating scandalous statements. Oh, God help us. God help Guyana. I know something is happening there. She probably, obviously, she is under duress. Obviously. But I don't know what do you think is happening there, Mr. Caesar? Your take.
Well, first and foremost, Mark, I would question the authenticity of this statement. That's the first thing I would do. And secondly, if let's say this statement is coming from the young lady, which I personally think it's not. That's my opinion. But let's just say it's coming from the young lady. It would seem as if, nothing happened here. But I'm telling you, Mark, usually when a story breaks, that is what would have occurred. And I feel that this is just the PPPC working. Look, we know the PPPC is a propaganda machine. I think it's just that propaganda machine that is working here, to try to smooth out things, to try to do damage control. But I would say this, Mark, what has happened has already happened. There is no turning back. She's not the first person that would have allegedly been abused by Nigel Dharamlal. Everybody knows Nigel Dharamlal and knows what he gives. He cannot sit in any public position in Guyana ever again. He should be protesting. He should be protested by people. His political career is over, Mark. Like I said, we have to set standards. And to the parents of this young woman, if this statement is true, shame on you. Mark, I say it again. Shame on them. They have no respect for those people who would have went out there and protest and stand in solidarity with their daughter. They are two cold individuals. If this is the case, I say this to the parents. If this is the case, over to you.
All right. 15 minutes after 10 o'clock. I've noticed some of the comments. People are saying fake, it's fake, it's a fake. We want to think, guys, that it's fake. But I have every reason to believe that this is what the young lady set up to write, is set up to say. There's a bigger something in all of this. Maybe some big compensation, monetary compensation package. It's got to be something really, really big to cause this young lady. And I am reading some of your comments to say that the statement could possibly be fake. I doubt, honestly, that's just my opinion. I doubt that it's a fake statement. But what I do know is that she probably agreed with the PPP fakesters to put that out there to divert attention and so forth and so on. But she is well aware as to what she's doing. I don't want to prolong this conversation to attack her. She's got to know what she's up to, because if it is not her, she is smart enough to find a way to ensure that she gets her message out there to say that, look, this is not her. This is not what she's about. But she's definitely under the spell or under control of the PPPC, that there's hardly anything that she can say. So the PPP has put out a statement on her behalf, and they have every reason why they're doing that, to divert, as Mr. Caesar said, the attention, and to possibly fool the Guyanese people. It was Jagdeo who first started by attacking the protesters, and then now come this victim. She is also attacking the protesters. I don't know. Something isn't right here at all. But I wouldn't just jump to say that it's fake. I wouldn't do that justice yet. What we're going to do, we're going to see more of her. She will be granted an interview. She will come out. She will speak, and all manner of things. Just watch very soon. They're going to cover her face. They're going to allow her to speak in order to save that Nimakaram Dharamlal. The other thing is, we haven't seen a resignation letter from Dharamlal of anything. And that, to me, is suspicious. In your closing remarks, please, Mr. Caesar, as we prepare to wrap up, anything else we wish to talk about? You need to add anything about this so-called letter coming from the victim, the rape victim?
Mark, when it comes to a letter coming from Nigel Dharamlal, there is no way that Nigel Dharamlal should be allowed in our parliament. So whether there's a letter there of resignation or not, there's no way that he can come in parliament and sit as a minister. And again, this comes back to the Guyanese people. We need to have standards in Guyana. You just can't have anybody perusing your parliament. Your parliament must have standards in place. And for the young lady, she is 16 years old. There have been no sighting of the young woman. The protesters have been asking, where is the young woman? She's got to understand that right now she has the attention of the people. The people are standing in solidarity with her, and she should do that is right, and not that is unrighteous. That would be my words to her. To the Guyanese people, let's continue to band together. Let's continue to support the opposition, as we definitely need a change in government in Guyana. Let's continue, to rally around each other and keep this government in check. Whenever they do something that's questionable or wrong, let's check them to that. Let's come out, let's protest, let our voices continue to be heard. And to all the people who've been leading these protests, Mr. Nigel London, Miss Lorley Nestor, Miss Simona Brooms, let's keep the pressure on. And we need to see more individuals in the opposition coming out and, protesting these people. And to the Guyanese people who are staying home and not coming out, you guys need to wake up and get out there. We're talking about your future here. You do not want to be marginalized and oppressed for the rest of your life. Let's all keep in mind that we all have a shelf life, and we want all during our time here on earth, we want to have the best life possible. And sometimes that calls for you having to go out there and fight for it. We want democracy in Guyana. We have to fight for it. Mark, thank you for having me. And to everyone, I thank you guys for listening in. I hope we were able to edify you. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. And to all of you, we thank you as always for tuning in and making us part of your nightly roundtable events at your homes or wherever you do listen to us from. And in a democracy, we agree to disagree, and we do so respectfully. And that is how we operate right here on Straight Up, right here on 107.1 FM. Again, thank you all so much. We will return tomorrow, same place, same time. Thanks, as always, Mr. Caesar, for your time. And I'm reading some of your comments still, but we've got to do more than just pray for Guyana. We commend those, we salute those individuals who are brave enough to go out there and stand up and fight for justice. Guyana seems to be a bit divided, not only within the PPP regime, but even in the opposition. Some people feel that they're going to go out today and protest, others not going to go out and support. So people want their own protest and these sort of things. When these things happen, it just, a lack of unity. There's no progress that way at all. And hopefully someday, very soon, all of these people would stop. Two of them protesting in front of GCOM, three of them going to go in front of DPP, and everyone wants to do their own thing. You cannot defeat the political enemies like that at all. They got to be unity. They've
Mark,
got
I want to say,
unity.
Mark, I want to say one other thing before we go, if I may.
Sure, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and the, Ben Shop Foundation, for sponsoring three young people through university for this upcoming year here, this upcoming semester for a full year. Um, that's a good thing. University should be free. There are many individuals, Mark, that this government would have. Listen, the guys you see sitting down on the corner, sitting down on the bridges, hanging out around the arcade and Starbrook and, all these places, Mark, trust me, we have accountants and lawyers and doctors and all of that sitting there. But you got to remember, their dreams were broken. Not everybody is strong, to go through those types of challenges, right? And I'm thankful to you and the Bench Up Foundation for stepping up and sponsoring three students to the University of Guyana. And also I want to thank you so much for stepping up also with the back to school drive for the children, where you're going to be distributing out kits to the young Guyana. Listen, I say this to everybody. If we want to bring about change in Guyana, we all have to do our part and, step up and contribute wherever and whenever we can. So I want to encourage everyone, to just, support Mark, man. He's doing some excellent work. I've gotten to see his work firsthand, and I'm very, very impressed. So, Mark, thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It takes a village, and I wish to reciprocate that as well. Wayne has been doing a lot of work behind the scene as well, and some other folks. So we are very thankful for it. It takes a village, and that's what we do. We oftentimes have these constructive discussions as to the way forward and how we can assist those folks back in Guyana in whatever way. Again, it takes a village. And thank you also, Mr. Caesar. And thanks to our listeners as well for those who participate, those who might be doing their own thing to help develop their own villages. Sponsor a child back to school. Buy a child within your village. What is it? A backpack, couple books. Do that. You can do that. And that is what, we have embarked on. Philippi. We are going to sponsor Philippi Village. Quite a number of little kids as well with their back to school items. Because we do know not only at Philippi and other places, the $40,000 is over, it's done with, and we want to play a role in the lives of these young people. Thank you all so much, and again, thank you to Mr. Wayne Caesar. And we give everybody a plug. We give those guys at Andrew's Supermarket, go out and support Andrew's Supermarket. You go out and you support Shellon Washington, her law firm. It's located out there in Brooklyn, New York. Telephone numbers right there. Just go out and support those businesses as well. And for some of you who may have immigration matters, don't forget you can give me a call as well, and I'll guide you in the right direction. Whether you want to file for asylum, I can help you out in that. If you want to file for your loved ones back in Guyana, if you want to file for visitor's visa, whatever it is, give me a call, 917-714-1082. Just immigration matters, mind you, just immigration matters. And if you're over here and overstayed and you don't know what to do, give me a call and I'll give you some tips as to what to do or what not to do. And with that said, thank you all so much. Again, thank you, Mr. Caesar. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Give my regards, Mr. Caesar, to your family, sir. Thank you.
Will do, Mark. Good night, everyone. God bless Guyana.
And to all of our listeners as well, God bless all of you. I see some people are battling with a trench grapple in there. Keep on battling at that trench grapple. But don't have them divert attention at all to us. Somebody else is asking for the number if you want to, and I do advise people as to what step to take or steps to take with regards to immigration matters. I'm now an immigration consultant. Wow, good. That is great. Thank you. And so if you wish to get in touch with me about any immigration matters, you have any questions, you need to file your forms, whatever, I do it all. So 917-714-1082, 917-714-1082. God bless you all, and God bless our country. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time, on 107.1 FM. So long.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100. Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंगला की चाल सोए रहना रिंगला की चाल सोए रहना बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना रिंद रगे चल सोई रहना चादर बिछाओ भलमा चौधरिया चादर बिछाओ भलमा मेंगला की चल सोए रहना मेंगला की चल सोए रहना मोरे ससुर जी की डुई डुई महलियां मोरे ससुर जी के कोई कोई मलाहियां सबसे सुंदर हमारा महिला चौगरिया चादर बिछाओ पलमा निकल के चल सोए रहना निकल के चल सोए रहना Hey, wait for me.